Darkness and Light by Gansen John Welch. In samsara we find that the lights of wisdom and compassion are being extinguished in our dark minds, filled with ignorance, intolerance, and blind passions. We are enslaved by unbreakable chains that bind us to samsara's endless suffering, and we are completely powerless to bring about our release from our evil karma. Only Amida and his supreme Dharma can free us from samsara's jail, as all our efforts to finally and forever free ourselves from samsara's karmic tyranny of endless births and deaths always fail. Life in samsara is like a duel with death, progressing to a deadly dance with death, and ending in a fatal embrace with death, as we inhale our very last breath. In samsara we reward our lying leaders and politicians who are buying our votes with name, fame, prestige, power, promotion and position, as well as wealth and adulation. But we are slaves to our blind passions, desires, cravings and aversions, slaves to our ignorant minds that are totally blind to the light of reason, wisdom and compassion. Amida's supreme primal vow is the only way to escape, so each and every day say, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you, Amida Buddha. Homage to Amida Buddha. I take refuge in Amida Buddha. The above verses were inspired by the following passages from pages 46 to 52 of Commentary on the Sutra on the Buddha of Infinite Life by Reverend Josho, Adrian, Cirlea. His excellent and most important book. Quote, as the Tathagata, I regard beings of the three worlds with boundless great compassion. The reason for my appearance in the world is to reveal the teachings of the way and save multitudes of beings by endowing them with true benefits. Even in countless millions of kalpas, it is difficult to come upon and meet a Tathagata. It is as difficult as seeing an dumbara flower, which blooms very rarely. Your question is of great benefit and will enlighten all heavenly and human beings. End quote. So Ananda asks the question out of compassion for all sentient beings, because he wants us all to be aware of the importance of the teaching Shakyamuni Buddha is about to give on Amida's unconditional salvation. It is like saying, hey guys, listen deeply to what the Buddha is about to say now, as this is not an ordinary instruction, but the most important teaching of his coming to this world. This is the reason why he now looks so superb and majestic, like I have never seen him in my entire life. End quote. Quote, today the world-honored one dwells in the rare and marvelous Dharma, according to Master Shandao. These words indicate, quote, the form manifested through the Buddha's supernatural powers. Not only do his features surpass the ordinary, there is none his equal. End quote. I think it also means that the larger sutra is the most important teaching or dharma of Shakyamuni Buddha. Quote, today the world hero dwells in the Buddha's abode. End quote. In other translations it appears as today the world hero abides where all Buddhas abide. According to Master Shandao, these words indicate, quote, abiding in the samadhi of universal sameness, end quote, and that, quote, he subdues all Maras, even the powerful demon king of the sixth heaven, end quote. I think it also means that the larger sutra contains the wisdom of all Buddhas and is emanated while dwelling in the supreme Dharmakaya of Shakyamuni and all Buddhas. Quote, today the world eye concentrates on the performance of the leader's duty, end quote. According to Master Shandao, these words indicate that he, quote, is unsurpassed in drawing and guiding sentient beings to enlightenment, end quote. I think it also means that the teaching of the larger sutra is Shakyamuni Buddha's main duty and action as the leader of all sentient beings. Quote, today the world valiant one dwells in the supreme Bodhi, end quote. According to Master Shandao, these words indicate that, quote, the Buddha alone and matchless as he abides in the four forms of wisdom is completely unrivaled, end quote. I think it also means that the teaching, the larger sutra, is the culmination of Shakyamuni's perfect enlightenment. Quote, "Today, the one most honored in heaven realizes the Tathagata's virtue." End quote. According to Master Shandao, these words indicate that, quote, "in his attainment of highest truth, the Buddha is the one most revered in all the heavens," end quote, and that, quote, "he has awakened to the truth that Buddha nature is not void," end quote. I think it also means that the larger sutra contains all the supreme virtues and merits of Shakyamuni Buddha and all Buddhas. Quote, "The Buddhas of the past, present and future contemplate each other. How can this present Buddha not contemplate the other Buddhas?" End quote. This means that Shakyamuni's teaching on Amida Buddha from this sutra is in agreement with all Buddhas and is praised by all Buddhas. Because Shakyamuni Buddha regards beings of the three worlds with boundless great compassion, the reason for his appearance in the world is to save them all. Quote, "The reason for my appearance in the world is to reveal the teachings of the way and save multitudes of beings by endowing them with true benefits." End quote. If this is the reason for his coming to the world, then which of the many teachings and practices that he taught during his life on earth can better bring all beings, no matter what their spiritual capacities are, to the attainment of perfect enlightenment, if not the teaching on Amida's unconditional salvation, which he presented in this sutra? Because, even in countless millions of kalpas, it is difficult to come upon and meet a Tathagata, and as difficult as seeing an Undumbara flower, which blooms very rarely. The question asked by Ananda is of great benefit and will enlighten all heavenly and human beings, showing to them the true reason for Shakyamuni Tathagata's coming to this world, that is, to teach this sutra on Amida's unconditional salvation. Shinran said, quote, "How is it known that this sutra was the great matter for which Shakyamuni appeared in the world?" End quote. Then he gives all the quotes that I myself presented above, as well as the whole third fragment of the sutra as testimony, and he says in conclusion, quote, "These passages give clear testimony that the larger sutra reveals the true teaching. It is indeed the right exposition for which the Tathagata appeared in the world, the wondrous scripture, rare and most excellent, the conclusive and ultimate exposition of the one vehicle, the precious words disclosing perfect, instantaneous fulfillment, the sincere words praised by all the Buddhas throughout the 10 quarters, the true teaching in consummate readiness for the beings of this day. Let this be known." End quote. Shinran also said, quote, "The teaching of the Pure Land Way is found in the larger Sutra of Immeasurable Life. The central purport of this sutra is that Amida, by establishing the incomparable vows, has opened wide the Dharma storehouse, and full of compassion for small foolish beings, selects and bestows the treasure of virtues. It reveals that Shakyamuni appeared in this world and expounded the teachings of the way to enlightenment, seeking to save the multitudes of living beings by blessing them with the benefit that is true and real. Assuredly, this sutra is the true teaching for which the Tathagata appeared in the world. It is the wondrous scripture, rare and most excellent. It is the conclusive and ultimate exposition of the one vehicle. It is the right teaching, praised by all the Buddhas throughout the 10 quarters. To teach Tathagata's primal vow is the true intent of this sutra. The name of the Buddha is its essence." End quote. In order to convince us even more to take this sutra very seriously, Shakyamuni makes a short reference to his supreme qualities. "Ananda, you should realize that the Tathagata's perfectly enlightened wisdom is unfathomable, capable of leading innumerable beings to liberation, and that his penetrating insight cannot be obstructed. With just one meal, he is able to live for 100,000 kotis of kalpas, or an incalculable and immeasurable length of time or beyond. Even after that lapse of time, his senses will still be radiant with joy and show no signs of deterioration. His appearance will not change, and his august countenance will look just the same. The reason for this is that the Tathagata's meditation and wisdom are perfect and boundless, and he has attained unrestricted power over all dharmas or phenomena. Ananda, listen carefully. I shall now expound the Dharma." Ananda replied, "Yes, I will. With joy in my heart, I wish to hear the Dharma." End quote. Shakyamuni, like any Buddha, is supreme in the universe, with power over all phenomena or dharmas, and possessing perfectly enlightened wisdom, so his teaching on Amida's unconditional salvation, that is, Amida Dharma, should be heard with veneration, devotion, and a mind open to receive its wonderful message. This is also the meaning of Ananda's words, "With joy in my heart I wish to hear the Dharma." The truth that Buddha nature is not void is an extremely important concept, and it means that while all phenomena of samsaric existence are ultimately void or empty of their own existence, because they come into being according to various causes and conditions, the Buddha nature is the only existence reality which is not void or empty of itself, but only empty of samsaric phenomena, empty of delusion, empty of suffering, empty of ignorance. Buddha nature does not depend on causes and conditions, so in this sense it is not empty or void, but truly existence, the only truly existent reality. Such a teaching is present in many Mahayana sutras like Mahayana Mahaparinirvana Sutra, Tathagatagarbha Sutra, Sutra of the Great Dharma Drum, Srimala's Lion Roar Sutra, Angulimala Sutra, etc. End quote. Namo Amida Butsu.